All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, wherever this video is finding you today, whatever day that is for you, or if you're joining us live, hello, welcome. Welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. Please excuse my just woke up voice and everything. I think we'll be all right. Let me know how the audio is doing with the music and everything. Today we're going to be doing an Aquarius movement medicine. And Aquarius is very much not known for being in the body. That can be kind of its main challenging aspect, is getting lost in your head, in your mind, overthinking and stuff like that, right? I've got some notes because as much as Aquarius does not appreciate like imposed structures and things like that, we do like structure. So today I was getting a lot of air energy in general for this collective, but especially I found out that the North Node is shifting into Aquarius right now. I think it was the Pisces Virgo axis before, and now we've shifted into the Aquarius Leo axis. And Aquarius being in the North Node means that you're going to be going through kind of a big identity shift, trying new things, learning new things, which great, like how Aquarian. But this movement practice is going to be geared towards helping you to maximize that and utilize it in the best way possible, because it could be just really overwhelming in a negative way, I guess, if you don't approach it in the right energy. And so the thing about Aquarius is it is all about the mind, but how do we connect that to the body and the movement medicine? And it's very simple. Aquarius is the kind of sign of the nervous system. And the nervous system is the connection between your brain and your body. And so I think that body-based stuff is really important for Aquarians, actually. Oh my goodness. Let me get rid of this guy real quick who's spamming the comments. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. Nice. All right. So, if we are connecting the mind and the body and we're utilizing Aquarius energy in the most productive, effective way possible, then we're going to be learning about the nervous system. And in polyvagal theory, there are kind of three main states of the nervous system. I think that maybe four if you count like shutdown, dorsal vagal activation, which is kind of playing possum, playing dead. So in the freeze, fawn, fight or flight, that would be the freeze response. And that is kind of like their last ditch, last resort mode. But generally we're moving in between, you may have heard this before, sympathetic activation, high blood rate, high inhalation to exhalation rate. You're breathing faster, you're moving more, you're focused. Your blood goes not to the organs that help you to repair and digest and nourish yourself. It goes towards your muscles and the external parts of your body so that you can run from a tiger or whatever, or figure something out. And so if we're always stuck in this stressed out state, which a lot of people are these days, it makes sense that there's a huge focus on shifting into a parasympathetic nervous response. And so that would be rest and digest, breathing. Your body is going more into that mode of what you do when you're asleep, but you don't have to be asleep, you know? Sometimes people have a hard time getting into parasympathetic response, and that makes it hard for them to sleep. And sometimes they don't really even get into a parasympathetic response when they do sleep, so they're not really sleeping. And so you want to go not so much in those extremes as much as it's okay to have those moments and it's appropriate to have those moments. But actually, the ideal space for you to be in most of the time is called ventral vagal nervous system engagement. And this is the flowing between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. This is like masculine feminine integration and balance. This is working together, utilizing that. And it's very helpful for being in environments with other people, which a lot of us have to do, but a lot of us are in environments where everybody's in a super sympathetic response, and so everybody is kind of hurting each other and like being super defensive. It's not great. So in any case, the more we can get into a ventral vagal nervous system response, the more we can come back into our hearts, the more we can be fully present, but not like spun out at the same time. The better we're going to be able to engage in our lives, like socially and physically and all of that, right? And if we want to utilize the power of the Aquarian mind as much as possible, when your nervous system is tuned properly, you're brilliant, you're a genius. That's part of your archetype. You're so smart. You have such incredible memory of these little details, and you have such innovative ideas. But if your nervous system is not tuned and it's out of whack, then you develop memory problems, you develop this extreme anxiety and this living in your head and this disassociation even, and this shutdown and this tension that you carry everywhere. And so I have known a lot of people, including myself, where people are like, we've seen these situations where you exhibit such intelligence, and then I'm just like so confused. Are you playing dumb? When you have these extreme memory issues, when actually I had a Capricorn tarot video that I was watching recently that I made months ago, and in it I felt the energy of Aquarius. Interesting. And so I said this card, the number on this card 5, the number on this card 7, I think was what I said, and that equals 11, like Aquarius. And yes, I was feeling Aquarian energy, and there was a reason for that. Because 5 plus 7 is 12, if you don't know. But that wasn't just a sign that like there was an energy there that wasn't so directly obvious. And maybe I shouldn't have been even using the math there in the first place. But the fact that I didn't notice it until after I made the video really was indicative of the stuff that was going on in my life at that time. And the fact that I was literally struggling to add simple arithmetic and like spell things. And I kept saying I have late onset dyslexia. Like I can't tell left from right. I can't keep my letters and my numbers straight. And this is so simple. And what is this? What's wrong with me? And that really encouraged me to, work on my neurological stuff through my diet and my lifestyle and everything. So that can be relevant and useful for some of y'all maybe. But just in general, this was an example of Aquarius being overloaded in their nervous system and the messages not getting through properly. And it's really important to have the messages come through properly because Aquarius is a messenger, and we need you, especially now with the North Node shifting into Aquarius, right? So before we get started with this this Aquarius movement medicine, maybe you should check out the Capricorn movement medicine video that I did, because I mentioned the Capricorn tarot video that talked about Aquarius. That's so funny. Okay, so there may be some kind of connection in there. And in that Capricorn video, I really was talking about these movements that get you more into a ventral vagal nervous system response. I healed a lot, and then I started moving a lot, and I moved more and more and more, and I kind of let my somatic exercises fall by the wayside a little bit and stop prioritizing them. And I really feel such a difference in my strength and my mobility and my ability to do things, because when your nervous system is on high alert, all of everything wants to go into the fetal position. You know what I mean? So, Aquarius, let's start here with a little bit of like self massage for the ankles and the lower legs, because this is the area that helps you to tap into the Aquarian energy and archetype. Is the part of the body that it's associated with, but really the main thing is the nervous system, right? So just finding like the little tender points wherever they happen to be on you, bringing some awareness into your body here. And actually, after we do that for a moment and kind of ground into our physical bodies, which could be important for all y'all aquas, then I'm going to have you do this one breath meditation with me. So I'm going to have you take a deep breath, 360 degrees, breathing into your diaphragm, breathing into your rib cage, breathing into your back body, breathing into your side body, breathing into your chest, breathing every direction, and then holding it at the top for a moment if you can, to kind of feel the pressure that creates in all of those directions, and feel the walls of your lungs and the air and the breath in your lungs pushing up against those spots, kind of making a mental map of what your lungs are doing and what they're shaped like and what they're capable of right now. And exhaling and breathing out all the way as much as you possibly can, and kind of forcing it at the end, even expelling all of that extra air that sits in the bottom of your lungs that you never get rid of, you never detox. We're going into this Aquarius Leo nodal shift right now. I'm gonna have some of y'all, you can take another breath, okay? And on the exhale, you're gonna like the lion's breath, which is appropriate, expelling heat and detoxing and stuff, because that is what the Leo energy needs to be doing right now, since it is in the South Node. Okay, so now that we are grounded a little bit into our ankles and our lower legs and into our breath, I'm going to actually focus in on our hips today, even though that's not traditionally associated with Aquarius because of the nervous system element. And what connects your nervous system and your brain? Your psoas. Your psoas is a muscle that a lot of people don't know that much about, I guess. And it's attached to your leg, and it runs all the way up the front of your hip, and then attaches into kind of like your lower back, into your hip, into, and a lot of people have psoas tension and issues and dysfunction that is a 24/7 thing. And it's not because of repetitive use. It is because of their nervous system, because of their mind, because of their state of mind. So, we're going to do a couple of somatic exercises to address that, focusing on the hips. Because if we can get the psoas to start mobilizing and releasing, and to feel into that, and to breathe into that a different way, then ideally we can access all of that Aquarian brilliance and serve the world with it. But we have to start with this part. And we have to start somewhere. So there's 5 million exercises like this that you can explore. But this is where we're going to begin. So I'm going to have you lay back in a figure 4 kind of shape like this, taking one of your ankles and crossing them over the opposite knee. You can leave your arms out to the side, your feet kind of heavy, or your lower back, excuse me, kind of heavy on the ground. Here you're going to take this ankle and shift your weight a little bit slowly to that side, 4 inches more or less, and then rocking back. And I'm going to have you do this 20 times, focusing in on your breath. The whole point of somatic exercises is not to push yourself as hard as you can or push yourself into a shape or an expression of a movement that doesn't work for you and doesn't feel good for you. It's very much not about force. It's very much about learning how to move, to not be frozen and not be stuck, but to move with presence and intention and slowness. Aquarius is not exactly the most sensual sign in the world, and that is why it's very important for us to balance that out and to slow down. I feel like air signs in general tend to be very fast moving. And as we're coming out of this Gemini season, which I definitely feel shocked and impacted by, maybe some of y'all also need to deload a little bit to release some of that frenetic energy of the summertime. And then I'm going to have you switch over to the other side, taking the opposite ankle to the opposite knee, allowing your hips to shift a little bit, your lower back to sink into the ground, and we're going to do that same thing 20 times on this side. About 4 inches to the side and then back to the center. Endeavoring to move as slowly as possible, as mindfully as possible, as lazy as possible, and not focusing so much on pushing your body into doing anything extreme, but more focusing on the sensations in your body. Speaking of grounding into the healing power of sensuality for Aquarius individuals. And after you do this figure 4 rocking practice on each side about 20 times, I will have you take your knees into your chest and kind of get a sense of where your hip flexors are at right now. And if there's any like pain, tension, jammed up feeling in general or on one side or the other, around your sacrum or around the front of your hips. in your belly or like the side of your hips. If you feel any tension in your knees, you could do little circles here if you'd like, kind of massaging your deep inner core and your lower back to make more space and more blood flow and circulation for that psoas muscle and for all those nerves that pass through your hips. And the next move that we're going to do here is going to be seated. So I'm going to back up a little bit here so y'all can see me better and follow along. And then have you take your feet out in front of you in a diamond shape. And bring your awareness to your tailbone, to your sacrum, to the back of your hips here. You want to be pretty far out, but you know, not pushing yourself into anything uncomfortable. And then I'm going to have you take your hands probably on your knees, if that is the best way for you to kind of sit up straight and all of that. And then I'm going to have you tuck your tailbone towards your feet on the exhale, and then bring your head towards the heavens, towards the sky, inhaling here. And I'm going to have you just do that little tiny pelvic tilt with the breath about 15 times. I'll do it with you here. Again, not trying to bring that pelvic tilt into any extreme. Not trying to push past anything. Not trying to force the breath. Not trying to speed up the movement. In fact, endeavoring to be as slow and as lazy as humanly possible. I did lose track. That's okay if you do. But I think that was about 15. So focusing on the quality of movement and breath, but not forcing it. And then kind of taking a moment to feel any shifts in the way that your hips or your knees or your ankles or any other part of your body feels after that practice. Maybe how do you feel mentally? How has your breath changed? How's your vision changed? Are the colors brighter? And you can do that 3 sets. You can pause the video if you'd like to do that right now, or you can just take that information with you into your life when you have a moment and practice it then. So the last movement that I was going to bring you guys through, oh, so many comments. Okay, I'm not going to block people the first time they say something weird, because I don't know what you mean. And those are 2 separate ones. Cool beans, indeed. Okay. Oh, we do have another evangelizer, But again, it's the first comment, so I'm gonna leave that for now. Okay, I'm gonna have you lie back on your back here. Now that you've done all of that movement, maybe feel into how your lower back and your hips feel different here. Maybe how things feel different in your chest or your jaw, your rib cage, your feet, your glutes, your forehead. Maybe doing some percussion and some body tapping. You might want to look into that lymphatic Big Six video series that I made last year if you feel called to the percussion thing. And then I'm going to have you take your hands, rub them together really, really fast until you start to develop some heat in between your palms. And then taking the heels of your palms and letting them sink into right under your eyes, covering up your eyes and feeling the weight of your hands sinking into your eyes. And allowing your optic nerve to take a little rest here, blocking out all the light. And now we're going to do 20 hip circles. So I'm going to have you take your knees out to the side, to your hands, and I'm going to have you breathe through. Try and bring these circles into the slowest mode that you can. And again, kind of focusing on that 360-degree awareness of this area of your body. And it's really more in the noticing, like the mind-body connection moments, you know, the mind-muscle connection. Which, how do we even have that? The nervous system. That's why we have our nerves. So we can communicate with the functional, physical action parts of our body. But there's usually a big disconnect, right? We're either super in sympathetic response or we're crashed. Maybe in a parasympathetic response. Maybe taking a vacation and forcing ourselves to rest and digest and nourish and take care of ourselves, and then go back into the extreme stress so that we can save up money for the next time we need to crash out. And then you're going to turn these circles around into the opposite direction here, and doing about 20 slow hip circles in this direction as well. Getting all of that synovial fluid moving around, generating. And as a body worker, I have seen a lot of people of every age lose function and mobility and potential in their hips. Which honestly, your hips are like where all of your energy and your motivation and your life force is generated from. So you're going to have a real hard time accomplishing your goals or even remembering simple arithmetic if you don't work on that hip stuff. When you activate your glutes. They develop, I'm blanking on the science right now, but they develop signalers that help your brain. I don't know, look back into that and post up some educational videos. I know y'all are partial to the memes, but for those OG subscribers who really are here to do the work, and new subscribers who are really there here to do the work, welcome. And I would recommend taking this kind of practice into a routine space because consistency develops a whole different result than just going really hard at something and then giving up and stopping entirely, burning out, like we were talking about. So we're moving out of the extremes. Aquarius can be very anxiety or depression. And so it's even more important for you to prioritize and maybe even integrate into your routine things like somatic exercises. You can do a little bit of rocking here. Again, if you take your knees into your chest and feel any changes that have gone on there from the beginning of this practice. And you can also do that lower back massage against the ground here. And honestly, almost anything, in my opinion, can be a pretty effective somatic exercise as long as you're bringing attention to the quality of the movement and you are slowing down enough to activate that observant, sensual, ventral vagal nervous system engagement and help you to come back into your heart and out of the anxiety of the mind in the future and out of the depression and the pain and the stagnation of all of your past pains and traumas and experiences that live inside of your body and your muscles. And by helping your body and your mind work together, they're able to take all of that tension and pain and transmute it into something useful, into helping you to heal and expand and grow and share things with the world, because that's what you like to do, right, Aquarius? You can't help anybody unless you help yourself first. You gotta put on your own oxygen mask first. Ooh, I did say I was going to wait until somebody posted like repeated comments, but the fact that we do have somebody in the chat that pretty clearly said gay, as in using the word gay as an insult, I feel like that is quite enough to be indicative of you should not be here. Like that's the kind of unnecessary, abusive dumbness that we definitely don't need here. Bruno Wise Fitness, you can connect with me through Instagram. I'm not very good at keeping up with my messages there at all, so I don't know. Maybe comment on a video or something. Kai Chi Alchemy, all one word there. Or you can always email me at kaichialchemy@gmail.com. And I will be doing personals and, working with people through movement and more like spiritual talk therapy and all of those things, whatever you're looking into. Oh, we got some more silly people in the chat. Let me put you in timeout first and then block it. Yeah, there we go. I think that works better. Excellent. Oh yeah, and then we got one that said it's not working, which highly reminds me of that thing I always talk about people that say like, I tried to meditate and it didn't work. Like, were you expecting to feel all peace and love and pleasure and perfection and joy? That is not what meditation is for. Meditation is for you to sit and slow down and feel all of your pain and think all of your horribly challenging thoughts and sit with it and not try and run away from it and not try to change it. So if you haven't been moving, if you haven't been meditating, if you haven't been slowing down, the more you slow down, the more pain you will be in. And you will feel the pain that you need to transform your relationship with life and movement and your body and your mind and yourself and God and etc., etc., etc. Okay, this is definitely the longest movement medicine I've ever made before, but I needed to slow us down, fellow Aquariuses. 36:36 on the clock. Oh man. I wonder if some people like put put together goals for spamming YouTube lives, because I know it happens to so many people so much that I'm just like, where are all these people coming from? It's very sad, like how many of them exist, like the way that they're using their time. Probably because they're trapped in their trauma or in their parasympathetic or their sympathetic or their dorsal vagal or whatever. And then they're like trying to get some type of relief, you know? I have a hard time empathizing with that because I haven't ever experienced relief from trying to like bring somebody down or harm them or whatever. So it's very hard to fully understand, but you can have some like cognitive empathy for everybody. It's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, so I may or may not get into a reading for the Ringing Cedars of Russia later tonight. I'll let y'all know how that's looking. Probably be a candlelight thing if we do. And 3800 might be relevant for some of y'all. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I will see you next time. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility.